I had all this work to do today, but it's raining, which is really screwing with my schedule. What a bummer. Go away! Go away, clouds! So what I could be doing in the meantime is cleaning this mess up, but that sounds awful. What's up, guys? Welcome back again to Fully Spooled. We have a lot to do on this episode. Before that, though, I wanted to thank Steve for the camera upgrade. If you'll notice, I look much better, hopefully, than my last crappy camera. This is a Canon Mark III 5D, so hopefully I'll look much better than my little handycam footage looked. So thanks again to Steve. Really appreciate it. Moving on to the car, my plan was to get this guy installed, which is the switch panel that I'm going to use for, ignition, start, and the various things that need switches in the car. And then it's pretty cool. It has like a fuse bank up here and then all the wiring back here. Really easy to set up, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to moving on to this guy. But before I do this, I need to put the dash back in to figure out where this is going to go. And then I realized, actually, before I put the dash in, I need to fill the holes in the firewall where the heater core used to be and that kind of stuff, because I can't have huge holes on the firewall. So there's a lot of steps I need to do before I can get to this, unfortunately. So today what I'm going to focus on is getting the engine transmission out, which actually I already did, and now I need to remove the factory braking system. So the ABS and the lines on the firewall have to go, and then I can work on welding to shut the holes in the firewall. So let's get started. Alright, as of the last video, we have the ABS system still in place with all the brake lines, but the brake master cylinder and booster are removed. So I need to remove the ABS system and probably all these lines as well, so I can get access to the firewall to start welding up all these holes. Go. Oh, come on, you. All right, ABS out. Well, from what I can tell, this big line here goes all the way back to the fuel tank or something way back there, and as one big long line. So I can't take that apart right now. I'll just move it out of the way when I do the welding. This one goes just to the driver's side brake up here. That one actually can take off because I'm going to be putting on a new one anyway, so maybe I'll just do that to get out of the way. Alright, here's what the engine bay looks like without most of the brake lines and the ABS removed. The heater core used to go here. I'm going to weld that hole up for sure. I might go with the ECU and most of the wiring harness cables going through this hole here, and then welding up that guy up there and that one. So that one I'll weld up. That one I will keep for my wiring harness. And then originally the wiring harness went through this hole, but I want to keep everything out of the wheel well for obvious reasons. The actual diameter of the wiring harness here is not too bad, you know, as far as fitting through the available holes in the firewall. But getting all this crap through the hole is going to be the issue. So I'm assuming this part should go through. As long as I can get this to kind of lay in here on the passenger side floor where the ECU is going to be, and this guy fits through the engine bay, I think I should be okay using the hole in the passenger side of the firewall here. So I'm just going to kind of lay it out and make sure and go from there. So this stays inside the engine bay. Pretty much it's going to end up like this. And this will be up here. I mean, that makes total sense to me. Alright, I'm going to use this hole here. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to fit everything through. Alright, that's the plan. Now that we know that we're going to be using this hole for the wiring harness pass-through, we need to block off this one and this one using metal plate. And the best way to do that is to use cardboard to make a template. So I'm going to tape the cardboard to this hole and then just trace the hole onto the cardboard and then put that onto the metal, cut it out, and then I have my two patch pieces to weld into the firewall. Alright, here are my templates. They're a little sloppier than I'd like, but that's really okay because I'm going to be cutting these things a bit bigger anyway to do an overlap type weld. So basically, like if this is my firewall and this is my patch, they're going to just kind of overlap a tiny little bit, and then I'll just kind of do tack welds around the outside because it's very thin metal on the firewall and I don't want to burn holes everywhere. So there we go. That fits pretty well. Also fits actually pretty darn well. Cool. Alright, I guess I should probably just trace the outside of the metal to see where it goes so I know how far I need to grind the paint off the firewall here. I'll do that. It's kind of hard to do this by yourself. Should I weld them from the inside? Oh, maybe I'll weld them from the inside. That would be way easier. I don't know. What does that look like, I wonder? Alright, hopefully that's gonna hold it while I go weld this thing from the outside. Unfortunately, I found out just now that I lost a CF card. Not lost, it got corrupt and died on me, and I lost an entire day of filming, which is terrible. The good news is I didn't do a whole lot that day just because I was teaching myself how to weld body panels for most of that time. I did lose a lot of stuff, like actually cutting out the filler panels for the firewall holes and that kind of stuff, and welding the first panel on. But fortunately I haven't gotten all the way through the whole process yet, so I can do the second panel and you guys can see that. So here's the first panel that I did. I'm probably going to do a couple more welds on there just to make sure it's really secure. But I think it looks pretty good. It has okay penetration for the most part. And I was worried about burning through, but actually I think I can go a little bit longer on a couple of those welds there. So that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with that. looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I gotta say, I'm really happy with that. That turned out really, really well. Oh, I'm so excited. And here it is from the other side. I'm really happy with this. I think I actually did a pretty good job considering it's my first time ever welding body panels or metal that thin at all. That's really awesome. Now I gotta do this one. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That fits perfectly. Awesome. All right, now I can start welding. Look at that. I have made metal happen. Oh man, this looks so good. I'm really impressed with myself that I did this on the first try. This is my very first time welding sheet metal like this thin, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So I need to just do a little bit of brushing to get rid of some of the spatter, and then I can put some paint on there and good to go. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so happy. And here it is up close. Oh man, I'm pretty happy. There's a little spot from the left side there in the top corner that I didn't get enough penetration, but this isn't going to be a load-bearing piece of metal here, so I think it'll be all right. I think later on I'm going to put some caulk around here just to keep any smoke or anything from the engine bay out of the cabin. Well, seeing as how this went really well and there's more holes down here to fill, this one used to be where the factory wiring harness went through the wheel well, and this is where that big where that nipple was from the other episode. So this one, since it has two holes here, I'm just going to build a plate eventually for that I can just screw in to there, and that way it won't be a permanent block, whereas this little hole up here I definitely don't need. And seeing as how I lost the footage thanks to my memory card going bad of making the panels for up here, I'll just show how I made it again with making a little circular panel for that one. Now that it's taped on, we'll just trace it. And make sure to get it as close as possible. So you know right where the outside edge is. Like that. So that gives you this little pattern, which you can just cut out with obscenely large shears. And then you take your metal that you've been practicing welds on for the last 6 hours, find a piece that hasn't been warped from heat yet, and then you just trace it on. Actually, I'll do this. This end is less messed up. And what I like doing is actually giving a little bit extra space, because you never know if you need it to be adjusted once you start welding it. So I'll move it out a little bit from the edges here, just so I can get a little extra room. All right, now we have the rough outline of it, so I'm going to go measure it up next to the actual hole, see if it fits, and then kind of trim from there. So here's my patch piece, which is way bigger than the hole for the outside. It would still work, but the idea was to have more material to weld to around the hole. From the inside, though, it's actually a perfect fit. So I might just say screw it and just weld this on there. Oops. Just need to sand a little bit where I can't get the drill. Pretty good. And here's our patch in place. Alright guys, that's it for the episode. Thanks as always for watching. We're making good progress here. We have the main holes on the firewall covered now. And what this means is now that the welding is over with, I can get the interior kind of pulled together. So I can get the dashboard installed, run all the wiring, get the headlights, everything wired up, and we're starting to actually get on the downhill side of this process. So I'm really happy about that. So stay tuned for more Fully Spooled. We'll have the interior stuff coming up next. And then what else we got going on? Obviously the engine's going to go back in soon, but we have some work to do there before that happens as well. So thanks for watching. Check out my social media stuff, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And my website, fullyspooled.com for more. I'll have more photos up there pretty soon now that I have this sweet camera. Thanks again to Steve for this. So see y'all next time.